Hello everyone, I am Gina Fernandez and I am the strawberry breeder at North Carolina State University. Today I'm going to be talking about strawberry cultivars for production in North Carolina. So we're going to talk about two groups of cultivars. One that have a group that has been around for a long time, we call them the standards, and then another group would be alternatives you could consider planting at your farm. So there are three standards, and I'm going to kind of go through these really quickly. Sweet Charlie is the early one. It's sweet, has fairly low yields, and it's from the University of Florida. The second standard is Chandler. It's been around for a long time, from University of California. It's fairly high yields, good flavor, and has been very well adapted to many regions across the state and has great flavor. The third standard is Camarosa. It's also from the University of California. Short day, medium-sized fruit. It has moderate to steady yields, and then at the end of the season, the flavor is quite good. It can be used for pick-your-own sales and also a little bit of wholesale as well. Now, some alternatives to consider. A lot of these cultivars we have trialed many years in North Carolina at one or more locations in the state, in the Piedmont, in the Coastal Plain, and in Western North Carolina. We consider them to be successful for most locations, and you can see that data. I'll give you a link at the end. And they are listed in this talk from early to mid-season, and then also a group of ever-bearing cultivars as well. All right, so let's go to those alternatives. So the first alternative we'd like to consider is Rocco. This is a strawberry variety from our breeding program here at North Carolina State University. It has medium-sized fruit, steady yield through the season, very good flavor, and is somewhat soft. It sometimes has seeds at the surface or at the surface of the fruit. It's best for pick-your-own and also other direct-to-consumer sales, so it's not a shipper. We like to consider it as an alternative for Sweet Charlie. Why plant it? It is early. It will get your season going earlier, and it is the one we like to eat, and it is growing in popularity across the state and across the region and even in the Midwest. The second alternative to consider is Ruby June. It is a short day, medium-sized fruit, early to mid-season, has very good flavor, moderately firm, so it can be good for pick-your-own and also some wholesale markets. We like to consider it as a Chandler alternative, and it has a planting date similar to Chandler, so it's very important you get it planted on time to get those good yields. And why plant this one? It has very nice flavor. It's a complement to other cultivars. Camino Real is another one for you to consider. It's short day, mid-season, very large fruit, high yields, a fair flavor, but a very firm berry. It's got that nice dark color and the white internal color. It's good for wholesale or pick-your-own markets, fairly disease tolerant and good rain tolerance. Why plant it? Mostly because it is firm. Liz is another new cultivar from our breeding program here. It's mid to late season, medium-sized fruit with very high yields. Most years it is of the highest yielding cultivar in all our trials. It's moderately firm with improving flavor through the season, somewhat like Camarosa. It's probably best, though, for pick-your-own markets and direct sales, direct-to-consumer sales. In some locations, it can develop a large canopy. It's got fair rain tolerance, and we consider it as an alternative to Camarosa. Why plant it? It has high yields, consistently high yields. Okay, another one to consider is Merced. This has large fruit with moderate to high yield, fair flavor, and firm. It has a smaller canopy, so you can see some sunburn to fruit. It's probably best for direct or consumer sales and wholesale. Because it is a smaller plant, we recommend a closer planting spacing, and it will need higher nitrogen throughout the spring. Why plant this one? It has a nice appearance and is firm. Radiance is another short day cultivar. It's from the University of Florida, early to mid-season, fair flavor and firm. This cultivar and most of the cultivars we tested from the University of Florida flower during the winter. So soon after they're put into the ground, they start flowering, and that will reduce their yield. So however, once the season starts, it can be a relatively steady producer. So once it gets going and there's no more chance of frost, it will be a nice producer. It can be used under tunnels, but it is not rain tolerant. Why plant it? We found it to be disease susceptible and have low yields because of those flowering losses of flowers in the winter. But some growers in North Carolina are having moderate success with this cultivar, so it's something to consider. Albion is the first of the ever-bearing types. We call it a mid-season for that first spring crop. Large to very large fruit, moderate yield, good to very good flavor. And it's a good cultivar for extended season, low tunnels, high tunnels, greenhouse production. It's also good for direct-to-consumer sales and wholesale. It will need a little bit more nitrogen through the season because of that long fruiting season. And you need to make sure that you get the planting date right if you're going to, especially if you're going to have a fall production of fruit. Why plant it? It has that nice summer harvest and has really nice flavor. Fronteras is another cultivar that's ever-bearing. It has large fruit and very high yields. It's firm and has a fair flavor. Plants need a little bit more nitrogen during the spring because of the large yields. It's good for direct-to-consumer sales and wholesale markets. For fall production, you need to plant earlier than you would for spring production. Flavor and color can be an issue. It's not real rain tolerant. Why would we plant Fronteras? Because it's very firm and has high yield. Monterey is the last of the ever-bearing cultivars we're going to be talking about. It's medium, large berry, and medium high yield. Very good flavor for an everbearer, and then also it is firm. It's good for multiple different types of uses of extended season, low tunnels, high tunnels, greenhouse uses. So it's also good for direct-to-consumer sales, and then also wholesale. Plants are going to need a little bit more nitrogen during the spring. And then if you plant for fall production, make sure you get it in earlier, mid-August to the beginning of September, depending on where you're located. It's not very rain resistant, we have found, so you got to be cognizant of that. Why plant Monterey? Because it is firm, it has decent flavor, and it is good for extended season type production. We have trialed many others in our breeding trials throughout the year since 2015, and all that data is available on the Strawberry Portal at NC State University. So just Google Strawberry Portal NC State breeding program, and you will land on that data. We also have this information as a handout on that Strawberry Portal soon, so you can look for that there as well. And I think that's it. Oh, we've also trialed a lot of different cultivars from those different breeding programs across the country and across the world as well. So all that data is there, and we will continue to trial new materials and see if we can continue to find alternatives to those three standards. Thank you so much for the various grower groups that have supported this program throughout the years. And if you have any questions, you can contact me at NC State University. Thank you.